Welcome back, my loves. This is part 2. So the last thing that we stopped on, I was talking through my third dream that I had. And it basically stopped at that I had the feeling of the I guess I was right feeling, which was basically that Michael and his ex were gone, out of the line, had went somewhere. And I was like, I guess I was right. A text popped up on my phone and it said, I worry about you, Wheeler, which was basically saying that I was Nancy Wheeler. And I got the feeling that the person that was texting was Billy Hargrove. This dream gave me 80s vibes. The next dream, which was the most recent dream that I had me like write all this out, gave me very 90s vibes. So, without further ado, I'm gonna speak about that one. Also, important thing to note. Normally, Michael comes off as this like feeling of like feeling safe, feeling like everything feeling great and fabulous and whatever else. But lately, it feels like it's almost like we're fighting. And that's important to note for later on when I'm like actually like interpreting all this. So this is the final dream that I had. I fell asleep by the window in this, it looked kind of like my house, but also looked kind of like my childhood house. But in the house, the window was like closer to the ceiling. It was nighttime and I was waiting for my dad to get home when I started to drift off to sleep. I heard the splash of cold water. I heard the splash of water, and then I felt the cold of outside. It felt so cold that it like felt like winter's air. And I said something like, "Hi, Dad." Then I tell my mom and dad about it in this dream, something about tripping over a hedge. Being insistent about Halloween and something else, and both my parents basically looked like they had seen a ghost. And my mom says, before you were born, we lived in a house that had a hedge where there was a little kid that fell over that hedge. For some reason, it gave me kind of like that the kid had like died or something like that, and that the kid was like super into Halloween, super insistent that they like decorated and all this other shit. And it wasn't necessarily a hedge, it was cement. And there was like, it was almost like a cement gate that would like lift up and down and stuff like that, to like get out and walk down the like cobblestone path or something like that. I put in parentheses, it had something to do with ancestral makeup. Then some other parts were, basically this next part, I know I've had this dream before, and it feels so weird because it's almost like a full, like, claircognizant dream or something like that. Like, there are only like 2 or 3 scenes in this whole thing, but there is so much happening behind that as if it's like something is being narrated to me. So hold on one second. I'm gonna pause this just so it doesn't delete. So it was watching a couple divorce, and it was like this rich, posh family. So it was handled more about assets. So basically, like, the scene that I had seen was, it was like one of the kids' rooms where they were like packing up the room, and the kids were like put into, you know those like, they've got like the people that like carry them, like the person, like it's usually for royalty. And like they put the kid in that while they were like packing everything up. And they're like kind of like hauled away somewhere. Later on, Give me 1 second. I gotta gather my thoughts. Okay, so it says, the guy was happy that she found love again and would watch the kids longer than like what was agreed upon. They were like friends. While the lady and her true pair giggled to not be too loud, or the kids would know that they were up. Almost as if the dad, ex, the mom, and the mom's true love, the kids, and the boy and girl all lived in this fancy estate, and they were okay with that too. Also, I think that the ex was played as Leonardo DiCaprio when he was younger, but I never saw the mom and her true love, or the kids. So basically, like, I never saw the girl, never saw the boy, but knew they were both a part of the dream. Never saw the woman or her true pair, because basically it was like the part of them like giggling to like not wake the kids up and stuff like that was, it looked like a blanket fort, but it was like more posh and fancy and like was an actual like genuine like bed fort or something like that. But it was like very playful, lovey, all that type of stuff. The only person I saw was Leonardo DiCaprio, and it was like when he was telling them that he would watch the kids longer so that like they could enjoy themselves or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna pause this real quick because I had wrote out like the "does to me" lyrics so that it could help me break it down, and then it broke each part down with like the important messages. So yeah. The other thing that I want to note. So originally, when it had given me like this interpretation, it was talking about like how the cold had to do with like somebody visiting me family wise, and I had basically made a note that says here's the thing. My dad has visited me before, and I've never felt this before. He usually feels like a weight or like a shadow weight. Same as anyone else who has come to visit me. This was just a feeling of cold all throughout my body. It like broke it down a specific way, and something had clicked for me. And so I had said, holy shit, it was the woman in her love was me and whoever I'm supposed to end up with. AKA the surprise. The little girl has to do with me. The little boy has to do with him. And I had said something along the lines of maybe Michael is a lesson too. And the lesson that I think is like an overall message that I've gotten a couple of times, which is something about like, don't worry so much about who the name is, worry about how they make you feel. Which obviously, like, the thing is, the last couple of days I've been saying, I have probably heard this message 1,000 times, but it's until it's told to me a specific way, I'm not going to get it. And I think that this is like the specific way where I'm like, this is the puzzle piece. And I think that the puzzle piece is that I'm not supposed to know. Like, it's more about how I feel rather than what I know, and not overthinking it, because the other thing was curiosity killed the cat. It was like not overthinking this, and going with what I feel rather than what I know. And the what I know part is that there is a piece that I do not know, and it's supposed to be that way. Next part.